And in most of these cases, the people who connect to the source, who do their spiritual inner work and suddenly shift to a higher plane, higher rank in a short period of time, those are the people who actually are already in a very high rank. Their soul is actually of a very high rank. It's the soul only that we are talking about. Okay, the flesh and the body that keeps changing every time we come here. So these are very old souls who have been here many times, who have come to earth, other places many times, who have seen life in different formats, in different ways, many times, thousands of times, and now they are again born here on earth for some kind of purpose, for some kind of mission. And it takes time on earth to remember who you are, because the veil here is very thick. You have the veil of forgetfulness. As soon as you land on earth, you forget who you were before. That is how it's designed. And it takes time to remember who you are when you come to earth. It takes time to remember who you are. As soon as you land, you forget. Some people might remember in 10 years. Some people might take 40 years. It depends on each one, how we are and how our path has been designed, because our awakening is also required only at a certain age. That is how the whole thing would be planned. So somebody might remember who they were, what is their whole thing, when they are just 10 years old. There are 10-year-old prodigies, 10-year-old saints who suddenly talk about a lot of wisdom and outer worldly stuff, and we wonder how is that happening. That is because suddenly now he has remembered who he is, whereas another person at 40 might realize who he is and he might start his journey at that point of time. It depends on their life path and the amount of work they are ready to put in. So you never know when, how, who is going to bloom, because right now is of course the time where everybody is awakening. So, and suddenly when they awaken, at what rank will they awaken, that also we are unaware of completely. I'm saying this because I've seen a few cases in my close circle. A couple of friends of mine, one particular case that I can tell is that this person was not at all in that space. He was a very regular person. Of course, he had a very difficult childhood, which is what has led him to be who he is today. But extremely difficult childhood, which I'm not going to talk about much, but the kind of tragic stuff that happened to him is like 1 in a million kind of a case, which is very rare. Even I would have not heard of things that happened to him. And because of his childhood issues, he turned into a person who was very dull, very unenthusiastic, not knowing anything, not wanting to do anything, never knowing how to have fun, or always just being a nice guy sitting in a corner who's good to talk to once in a while. That is how we knew him. That is how his identity was. He barely had friends. No one had any big hopes from him. Someone who will just sail through life is what we thought of him. And within like a span of 3 months, I think, of course the whole journey is still ongoing, but the sudden shift that I saw was in a span of 3 months, that he suddenly became a very different person, and his energy completely changed. He was no longer speaking that way, behaving that way, and coming across to the world like how he was. He moved to a very high rank because of his work, and also because he actually is of that rank already, who was able to go through all the problems in life, who was able to withstand all the shit that he went through his life, because only a soul that powerful will be able to go through this and survive still, and not give up on life, not die, not commit suicide, and still live. And he bloomed. Suddenly he bloomed. We were all shocked. I was shocked, because it felt like a overnight transformation almost. It was a huge transformation. I never thought something like that could happen to him especially, and to people in general. That 3 months is too short of a time for someone to become like that. He realized God in himself, and he feels like he's the God himself now. And that was not it. Like, his journey is ongoing, and he's going to reach more places. He's going to go further, is what we see now. This is not it. It's an ongoing journey for him. And the person who wronged him in his childhood, of course a lot of people were involved in what happened to him, but the one main person who had initiated it and had gotten everybody to do it, that person lost his life almost like immediately. Not immediately, maybe like after a few years or so, but back in that time itself. These are the words from my friend, that that person who died had appeared in his visions also later on, much later, and had said sorry even. And this guy, my friend, he is of a very, very high rank, which I am sure, because of the kind of life he has led, the kind of things he has seen, and how he has survived. And now his journey has just begun. He has just bloomed. His journey has begun now. I'm really proud of that guy.